evening, everybody. Hello. Welcome to the 700th day in a row. Or I've hit the live streaming button. Brandon, what happened, man? I'm so sorry we didn't link up. I got a good box going for you, though. We're going to start with Puppy Cam tonight. Tonight's stream will be starting with Puppy Cam. Her attention has been drawn away. Good evening. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's having a nice night. Good girl. He is so funny. This dog is one of a kind. With a different toy. Look how she just decides when she wants to take a break. She's like, yeah. Oh, and then she comes right back. Actually, I was just kidding about that break I was taking. Hi. You're funny. Hi. What's the hell is Sheba 500? Go ahead. Run. Run. Run, Sheba. Run, little Sheba. How about there's a new Bitcoin called Shiba Inu? Not just Dogecoin with the picture of Shiba Inu. Now the actual name of this stuff. And Shiba Inu. I thought that was interesting. Also, Jenna let me know that starting on Monday, KFC will start selling nuggets in the same fashion of Chick-fil-A's nuggets. We'll see who the superior nugget is. I think we all know. I think we can take a guess at who that will be. Who that? I think we can I'll take a guess at who that is. Who that is? Hey there, no. Except the Lord in himself. Oops. Ain't nobody making a people with a gonna be the Lord in himself. Polly, Steve, how are you, sir? Oh, look at Pupper's back again for more water. Somebody had a long running day out there. Ari's been back to the dog park for the past few days in a row. Living her best pupper life. Getting run hard. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? It'll get run hard. How's the fish tank? The tanks are doing good. I'm in the middle of cleaning excuse me. I'm in the middle of cleaning the desktop tank. But the 3-gallon is doing great. It's been up for like 7 months now, and it's had maybe 2 water changes ever. So that little tank is kicking ass. All the mushrooms, everything are doing well in there. The little Coral Beauty's living his best life alone in this little piece of territory. I don't think he's grown like at all. The 20-gallon on the floor, the build-out tank is no longer the build-out tank. Well, it is still, but its build-out is pretty much complete. It is it's officially mature enough that it can support corals, because that leather coral has been in there for about a week now, doing just fine. And it can support all the fish, because the fish are doing just fine. So now it's going to be all about just getting those fish into a tank that's more their size. You know, giving that wall a little bit of a revamp in terms of what's on it. What's on that wall? What's hanging? The castle, the Disney castle. Some things need to get into new places. It's a big part of what Jenna and I will be doing while she's here. I'm about to make myself an early, well, 7:22. I guess it just feels early because the sun is still just like out. I'm gonna make myself just a little drinky poop. A little Drinkosaurus. Christopher, look at Michael Briggs in the house, guys. Holy ish. Has anybody even been watching the channel for as long as Michael's been trying to watch the channel? When I say trying to, meaning like how many accounts we've had to ban. Come on. When the West was young, we would win the West. No, you're okay. I mean, obviously you're good nowadays. I just think it's funny. You've been watching this for a long time. And you think back about how everybody used to just auto-ban you every time you showed up. I do remember one time I had to go through and find somebody's name that I had to unban, and this was 2 years ago probably. And when I tell you that there was 100 Michael Briggs accounts that I saw as I went along, I was like, whoa, this dude, dedication was outrageous. It still is, I shouldn't even say was. Man like me, the shooter, like y'all Wooters. Who is Jan Wooters? Some obscure Dutch footballer. Who Who is Jan Wooters? Man like me's got a million suitors. Cause I stay hot like Jan Wooters. 2 + 2 is 4. -1, that's 3. Quick maths. Man like me got 100 suitors cause they hot like Jan Wooters. The baby. The Mandalorian. Who is the Mandalorian about? Some people thought it was about Baby Yoda. Boy, were they wrong. Because now Pedro Pascal's the talk of the town. It went from Baby Yoda was the hotness to now Pedro Pascal. Pretty funny, right? They had him take the mask off because he wasn't, you know, they were trying to keep it all Now they're probably figuring out how are we going to get this guy's mask off. Now that the mask is back on, how are we going to get the mask off of one of the most famous dudes on the block instead of having him behind a freaking helmet? Katie Stackhoff. She gets to just rock it out, right? She's Bo-Katan, always has been. Who's cooler than Bo-Katan? Not Din Djarin. He's maybe like as cool as her. She takes her helmet off all the time. Sabine took her helmet off all the time. Boba Fett, they took his helmet off all the time. There's only the ways of the Mandalore. Be like, man, Mandalore died a long time ago. Mando. Have you ever loved me? Mando. Could you like the Django song, but for Mando? Mando. Did you ever love? Life was never. Now you love her, but you lost him forever. Mando. I'm sure somebody has to have done that, right? If not, I mean, what the heck? What the heck, big famous YouTube people with all the money? You know Markiplier makes $38 million a year. I heard that today. I said, what? So Markiplier makes $38 million a year. That means that at his prime, I bet you PewDiePie had a year where he made $100 million. I bet you. I really do. Haven't heard that. I was like, damn, I bet you in that prime year where it was like Beast Hunter 64 and all that crazy shit, or even in the Minecraft, like, I bet you that guy was making $100 million a year. I never knew it was like that. I thought those cats were just what they were. But now that I know, I'm like, whoa. Mr. Beast, that guy, like, no wonder. He's talking about, like, how he does his islands. He's like, Mr. Beast, how do you give away islands? He's like, well, you know, if you get an expensive island, it's like 12, 13 mil. But if you buy a cheap island, that's only like 800 grand. And then you spend like 2 million to like put a bunch of like sand and, you know, some trees there. So it's not just a rock. And next thing you know, you got like an island for substantially less than you would have bought it for. And they're like, yeah, dude, but we meant like, how do you just give it away on the thing? He's like, oh, the video makes way more. And so in my head, I was like, wait, so you just said you spent $2.8 million, $3 million basically on the island that you're going to give away in the video, and that the video is going to make way more. But obviously not more than probably extraordinarily more, or else he wouldn't even shake a stick at like getting the expensive island. So it started making me think. I was like, so a Mr. Beast video like that, I bet you makes $10 million. And if that guy, he makes a lot more than, I mean, if, say on his bad days, he's making 100 videos a year. That's not $1 million at 100. To say that's $10 million. That guy could be an actual billionaire. Who knows? And then I was listening and it got me down this path. I was like, I started looking at, like the richest people in the world. And did you know that nobody actually knows who the richest people in the world are? The only thing that we know is that these cats with a lot of money, the Jeff Bezos, Elon Musks of the world, they have the money that their companies are like worth, and like we have an estimate on like what their valuation is. But the guys who have the most money, apparently, are Saudi nationals, people who like are basically landowners in Saudi America. Saudi Arabia, and the guy was saying, one of the guys who was like super knowledgeable on this, he was like, I'm pretty sure that some of those guys are worth or have access at least to $1 trillion. I was like, whoa. That's why, like, when you go to Dubai and stuff, it's like, it looks like it's from the future. Because apparently there's more money there than you could ever imagine. It makes the whole problem here, like, look like a joke almost. Like not a joke, because it's not a joke. But it would make, like, the wealthiest person in Saudi Arabia versus the least wealthy is, like, a disparaging thing. But there's so much money that really nobody's, like, living on the streets and stuff. Like, if they are, they have, you know, they're, like, almost, like, outcasted from society for, like, a different reason. Not just for, you know, whatever. Not just because they can't have a house. They're, like, outcasts of society because they're, whatever, like, robbers and stuff. It was crazy. I went down this rabbit hole. I was like, what the hell? Drinking rum and coke. Tom, it's me, Eden Current. Hello, Eden Current. Here's cheers to you, Michael. I didn't put any booze in this. The second that it hit my tongue, I said, wait a minute. This doesn't have one of its most essential ingredients. Whiskey river, take my mind. Don't let a memory torture me. Whiskey river, don't run dry. You're Yeah, dude. Next time for sure. Let's get like next time you're coming, give me some advance notice. We'll make a reservation somewhere. My treat. Take you out. Thank you, Eden Kurt. Appreciate that. I'm just here to days like today just to keep the streak going, but we'll be back to doing all that videos that I feel like are worthy of the title YouTuber. For now, we're doing something a little more personal to myself. I will never do anything else for 1,000 days in a row besides eat, poop, sleep. Certain things, but there are few things I'll do for 1,000 days in a row. Not one day missed ever again. And this will be the only one that I'll be able to look back on consciously and say that was a finite, quantified amount of times that happened. I also got a nice little hack going right now. I've been getting the buffalo chicken, not the buffalo chicken. I've been getting the chicken tenders from Publix. Chicken tenders, popcorn chicken from Publix, the regular one. The Taco Bell sauce, the spicy ranchero, I just. Dude, that's what I mean. Like the Sorcerer's vlog is like a whole nother world of Disney. Just even how quiet it was and stuff, like it was still kind of pandemic and just kind of, you know, I don't know. The vlogs that really blow my mind nowadays are the ones I go back and I watch from old Epcot, where I'm like at the Electric Umbrella eating like chicken nuggets and like looking out at the Fountain of Nations, or like getting Starbucks at the wow. It might have only been 5 years ago, but it sure as hell seems like it was about 10 years ago. In some ways, I guess. I don't know. Thanks, Jake. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, so we're getting after it, you know. The next round of literally starting on Saturday when Jenna gets here, everything is going to take a change. So we've got tomorrow some Lego build, and, you know, maybe I'm going to take Ari to some park, not a park, but some resort tomorrow for us, our stream. Do some Lego tomorrow night. And then Saturday I'm picking her up during the day, and that's it. Saturday, Sunday we're chilling, getting a plan together, and then come Monday it's stream, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm gonna be getting out there. And not just for streams, but start gathering content to get ideas, start to rack our brains on how we're going to proceed in terms of a lot of those ideas for the website. I think are genius. Her stuff, her genius little ideas, getting that stuff going. So it's going to be, we're going to be getting after it after this. It's not going to be, and even that month or whatever is going to be the most laid back month, because after that things are really going to change. Then things are taking a huge change, so. So I think in a lot of ways, I think if you looked at it the first 200 days, we were in the parks probably for about 180 of them. And then we started to peel back a little bit, but we're still there quite often, from about 300 to 400. But then from, I would say, 400 to 500, there was barely anything in the parks, really. I had pretty much tapped out. And then 500 was the day that I had my kind of... So anyway, since then, it's been very consistently, like, I'll go for a couple days each week, but it hasn't been more than that. And that's really all been in anticipation of the fact that the last 200 days on this, 800 to 1,000, are going to be packed full of stuff. Like, it's going to be like a whole nother thing. It'll be like much more similar to the stuff in the beginning. How long is Jenna coming down? So Jenna's coming up for probably about 3 weeks, maybe a month. And yeah, I would say probably about like 3 weeks or something like that. And then after that, she'll be up here full time. But we're gonna play all that as we, I'm not gonna put any horses ahead of the carriages. We're gonna take it step by step. So days 800 to 1,000, there's just gonna be tons of park stuff, and it'll be really to an extent almost like I'll be laughing at the fact that I ever even thought that there wasn't enough. My goal is to be not even half. You know what a baseball player's like? if you bat 400 on the year, you are the all-star of both leagues. So if I get a 400 percentile, you know what I mean? If I went 4 out of 10, 400 out of the 1,000, that would be just fine with me. And even if it was lower, that'd be okay too. It doesn't need to have been 1,000 days in the park, because I never would have made it. Hey, stop! Come here. I would have never made it to 1,000 days. I would never made it to 200 days. If every day was in the park, it wouldn't have worked. The next thing I could do in my life is like, it would be easier for me to go to Disney 1,000 days than to stream Disney 1,000. I know that might not make sense to you, but trust me when you don't understand. Not from my perspective. I don't know how everybody else feels, but I am Disney. I consume it in a different way completely when I'm not streaming. It's almost like if I'm paying 80% of attention normally when we're streaming, that last 20% that I have to spend on this goes to the park. So it's just that it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's enough. Yeah, I have streamed the gaming before. It went well, but it didn't streaming gaming is like sadly you're in this quagmire of people. There's too many heads trying to be the next Ninja, be the next Ludwig, PewDiePie, Markiplier. It's just not easy. Everybody wants to be the next Dr. Disrespect, I've played enough Call of Duty. I've only been playing it for 2 months now, and say I've played 1,000 matches. Out of those 1,000 matches, 200 of my teammates easily, if not more than 300, so that's like a third almost. These people are like on Twitch. And I'm just like, they got 5 people watching them, and I'm like, that's how I'd be too. What's the difference between having 35 people watching you at home, chilling on a 1,000-day streak versus the 10? Well, for me, it's that this has a purpose for me. There'll be nobody here. I'd still do the 10 minutes just to have that. I used to like streaming when there was hundreds of people. So I wouldn't enjoy streaming the games for just a certain amount of people. I would only enjoy streaming games if there was lots of people. So that'll be hard to ever make happen because it's such a hard... What I need to do, this is what's going to happen, is that this year's a focus on this channel. And then next year I can focus on the bricks. Figuring out, does bricks stick around? Is it a liquidation of the bricks? Is it time to realize that that's not ever going to be something that I can put the amount of time into that I'd like to by myself? With her here, do things change? I have no idea how much of my free time is going to get freed up. The back burner and the front burner, like I've told you. I don't know how much of my front burner is going to get freed up. Because if stuff's on the back burner, it's cool. I can just kind of mull through it. But if too much is on my front burner, then nothing's getting done. So I need to keep it balanced in terms of if I'm gonna focus up super hardcore on this, I need to get that straightened out. And if it's at a point where I'm not putting in the effort that I am now, then I can put effort into that. But then it's like the gaming, that's a third thing. That's like the fish tank. It's like, I was like, you're so good at the fish tank. The fish tank's so pretty. Even when I posted on like Reef to Reef, people are like, oh, could you make videos on how you get that much coral and algae? Like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, not really. Like, this is something I want to do for myself every night. Like, this is what I want to do at 11 o'clock when I just have that burst of energy and I'm doing some laundry and I'm waiting for it to dry. And I'm like, oh, I want to go mess with my fish tank. I don't want to have to put a camera up, record it, talk about what I'm doing. I just want to enjoy it. Put on some crap in the background, some Norm, laugh while I'm cleaning some filters and pads and stuff. It's like, the more stuff you turn into content, the worse off you are. Unless, again, you've hit like a PewDiePie level thing. Or Mr. Beast. Like, in which case, anything that you have that's a good idea, just make it into content because you have a team around you. This guy's going to film it. This guy's going to edit it. All you do is just have to exist. That's a different thing. If it's not just you existing, and you have to put some level of effort into it to grow it, to make it sustain, you're better off just focusing on one thing. Like, I'm not Benjamin Franklin. I'm not going to be like, you know, I can't have my hands in too many baskets at once. And honestly, the stuff that we're going to be getting into this year is going to be tremendous. I mean, you don't even understand what's coming down the pipe. I wish I could talk to you about some of it. Some of it I have, but some of the best ideas I can't share yet because, again, we need to get those more solidified into how to make sure that they don't get like swept out right from under us. But some potential, some things that'll happen potentially that could really like blow up. I'm talking huge potential. And I don't want to, again, I never put the horse in front of the carriage. I think Jenna might have the first $1 million idea I have ever heard in my life. That I actually was like, holy shit, I could get behind that and make it happen. I really do. I don't know what the kind of potential, like what the cap is. Like, I don't know where the cap, it doesn't exist really. Like, if the idea became a company that caught the same kind of traction as, say, like, do you know how much a company like Loungefly is worth, or Dooney and Bork? Like, these companies that are based around Disney stuff and do other things too, but even if you just took their Disney side of it. So it's very, it's like, it's this crazy genius idea that if scaled the right way could just become it would become like, forget about trying to make content, it would become like, I'm filming this vlog because I'm going to Rome to see the Colosseum. Forget about like putting Legos together at home to try to do something. Like, now we're, I don't know, it has that kind of a cap to it. Anyway, so we gotta wait and see. There's a lot of patience will be a virtue here, and we all know that my patience level is at about 1 billion nowadays. After the dog park incident the other day, my patience is at about 1 million. Well, not 1 million. 500,000. The road's still driving me a little crazy. Once I get patient, 100% patient on the road, that's when I know I will have come to like a zen place in my life. Yeah, man, there's just crazy potential, like really serious, huge potential in this idea that she has. I think it could become, I literally, honest to God, I think it could become in the Disney community in terms of like when people talk about stuff. I think if you gave us 5 years, honest to God, I think that people would be like, oh, did you get that at ba ba ba? Like in the parks and stuff, like straight up. And it's not, obviously, it's not some conventional idea like let's make ears, let's make whatever. It's not, trust me, it is not a conventional idea. It's not something you've seen people do yet. It's this genius. I don't know where she pulled this thing from, but it was the most genius idea I've ever heard. You think I got a girlfriend? You think I do? You're not paying enough attention, man. Jen is here all the time. But, what's up? What it is now? Vince Clark in the house now. I'm gonna rap now. Vince, give me a word, I'll rap it. Ready? Just give me a word and I'm gonna rap it for you. Bars. Just give me a word. Who's got a, yo Vince? Yo Vince! I'd be like, you can be like my Flavor Flav and I'll be like Chuck D. Like, yo Vince, give me a word. I can't wait to see you on the 4th, sir. Dude, I'm gonna exit interview you. Be ready. Train. Yo, I got trains on the brain. You could be a real pain if you abstain from the lane. Batman fought Bane, also walked with a cane. What you know about my mane? Make it rain. That was pretty good, huh? I was like, what else? Give me another one. You didn't know I had it in me, did you? You didn't know I had mad rapping skills. And the word is train. The password is train. That's a good rap verse about a train. Hell yeah. Or you could make it about the train too. You could be like, I was sitting on the train, can't complain, when the man next to me started picking my brain. He said, what you thinking about eating, man? I said, I don't know. I think I'll have to act. Oh, that would be it. He'd be like, I was sitting on the train, can't complain, when the man next to me started picking my brain. He said, yeah, I'd work on it. I'm not really, I could spit bars, but I would end up having to do some. The flow's right, though. Sitting on the train and I can't complain when the man next to me started picking my brain. He said, that's some tight flow right there. That's pretty hot flow. But to just rip off the top, I'm surprised I could still do that, to be honest with you. I might have just shocked myself a little bit. Cucumber. Oh, that's a way tougher word to rhyme about. Cucumber. Out here chopping lumber. Take a slumber. That's all I would have right off the rip. Damn, that's a tough word. Cucumber. Yeah, I took a slumber. Chopping up my lumber. And I called the plumber. You could kind of start getting a little like wheezy on them. Cucumber, yeah, I'm feeling number. You know, like a, oh, there you go. Cucumber, yeah, I take a number. There you go. All right. Yeah, I could chop it up with cucumber. Get it? Oh, see, that was quick. You didn't see that. Yeah, I could chop up a verse about cucumber. I used to do this back in the day. You guys don't know this about me, but Tom grew up in the hip-hop world. People used to try to rap battle me all the time in middle school. It was hilarious. People would come up to me and be like, Tom, battle me. I remember one time we were on the bus. Again, I was like in middle school. And there was this kid. It's probably one of my best lines ever. I was like, he was trying to like talk crap about me. I was like, you talking this about me? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, I seen you outside your house. Like, yo, it's Thursday. What the fuck? Where's the man in the welfare truck? Hey, the whole bus was like, what the hell? It was dope. I'll never forget it till the day I die because I never had a reaction like that. It was after like, you remember that, you know that YouTube video where the kid's all like up and he like falls back and everybody like, ah! It was like that. The whole bus exploded. I got into so much trouble. I got kicked off the bus actually in middle school. They kicked me off the bus because like, I was such a mess on the bus. I used to use the bus as like my stand-up comedy spot. After I got off the bus every day, I was getting on the bus after school, like ready to rip it up, make the whole place like go crazy. Sometimes I'd come on like a T-Rex. I'd be like, my buddy Jeff. I remember we got in a bunch of trouble because I got up one day and I was like, yo, you guys know what a Pakistani drive-by is? And everybody was like, no. I was like, it's when a guy on a camel comes by and throws a rock at you like, I got in so much trouble. They brought me to the principal's office. They were like, we're going to have to, Tom's not going to be able to ride the bus for the rest of the year. And my dad was like, who's bringing him to school? They're like, well, you'll have to worry about that. He was pissed. Luckily, this other lady drove her kid to school naturally anyway, who kind of lived near me, so she used to come pick me up in the mornings. I think my dad paid her or something. But God, it was so funny. It was so funny. Hey, having to sit there. I remember sitting there. It was the bus monitor, the bus driver, my principal, the vice principal, and my guidance counselor, me, my dad, my buddy Jeff, and his mom and dad. And we were all sitting there watching this video, and like, it was the bus video. And at one point, literally, it was the bus video, like, hey, it was like, so it's hilarious to think about. All right, so like the bus would have been like this, right? Like all the seats were here. At one point, you just see the back of my head, because like I stand up, like, so you can only see the back of my head. So I'm facing the bus, like I come into frame, I'm like, hey, you guys know what a Pakistani drive-by is? Oh my God. Hey, the whole, oh my, it was so funny. Dude, the room was so quiet. It was so funny. God, I've had such good memories of that kind of stuff. Outrageous. I used to use the bus as my literal, that was like my show. I would put on the show. I mean, once I got to high school, it was game over. Everything was just a show that I was putting on all the time. I remember one year they did a cheesecake thing. There was like, if you sell the most cheesecakes, you get a cheesecake. And so I don't know how, the idea just came over me. Like, so we have the meeting in the auditorium, my whole class, like the junior class, right? And there was like, the whole student council had to stay behind. And I was the vice president, and I looked at my buddy Lucas, who you guys know, he's the president at the time. I was like, Lucas, I was like, just stay here, and I'll be back. Just give me like 10 minutes. He was like, why? What are you gonna do? I'm like, I'm gonna get that cheesecake. He's like, what do you mean? Dude, I ran full sprint to each of my favorite teachers throughout my entire, so freshman, sophomore, and now my junior teachers. I ran to all of them. And my baseball coach, and my second cousin who taught woodshop. I ran to everybody. I was like, yo, sign your name and get a cheesecake, and I will come back and bring you a slice of cheesecake. Nobody else can offer you this deal, and everybody's going to try to sell you a cheesecake all day. And every one of them signed it instantly. They were like, Tom, we've seen this a lot. This is the smartest move anybody's ever pulled. Like, you are going to grow up to be the best salesman ever. I was like, thanks so much. I got all their signatures in about 8 minutes. In about 8 minutes, I burst into their classrooms like, yo, it's cake day. Everybody's going to try to come sell you a slice of cheesecake, but I'm the only person who can offer it a slice within the next half hour if you sign right now. And like, they were like, absolutely, because they knew what was going on anyway, because every year it would happen, and then the kids would go throughout the rest of the day and ask all the teachers, will you buy the... So they all knew that it was going to happen, but nobody had ever seen anybody just sprint to the classrooms. And so I go get the 10 signatures before the cheesecake people left, because there was like a cheesecake people that ran the thing. I run back into the auditorium, and I wish Lucas was here to tell this story, because he tells this part of it way better than I do. The way he would tell it is, he's like, we were standing there talking about logistics as far as how many cheesecakes we needed to sell, the numbers, He's like, I felt like not more than 5 minutes had passed since the meeting ended. And Tom comes bursting into the auditorium doors, blows them open, and has the paper, and he's screaming, I did it! Run down there. I give the lady the thing. I'm like, I got 10 sold. And she's like, how? I'm like, I just went and I grabbed them for all the teachers. She hands me the cheesecake. And that's what I did. I took it, and I went to each one of the teachers that sold it to me, and I cut them all a piece of cheesecake. It was awesome. There's only 8 slices of cheesecake. I fucking forgot about that part. So I ended up not giving my coach and not giving my cousin the piece of cheesecake. But everybody else got their cheesecake. They were cool. They were like, whatever, dude. That's genius that you even thought about it. It was probably my singular shining moment. I also had a singular awful moment as well. Because the way my town worked was there was 250 kids in my graduating class, and it was a big graduating class. Most of the time, you were lucky if you had 200 kids in your graduating class. It was a small town. So you grew up with the people that you just grew up with, like the whole time. It's not like you had different friends, whatever. So in middle school... terrible. I can't remember to tell the story. But anyway, in middle school, it was a long weekend. I think it was Labor Day, not Martin Luther King or something, right? And on a Friday, we all left school. There were these chocolate milk things I used to be obsessed with that I'd buy instead of lunch. So I bought this chocolate milk thing and apparently put it in my locker. Not good. We come back to school on Tuesday. Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all day. Now Tuesday morning, we're showing up to school, and the entire corridor of where my locker is, we don't know it at the time, but it's my locker. It stinks. Nobody can figure it out. People are trying to teach all, we go to first period, it's all good. Second period comes along, the teachers can't even teach. We all have to go to our lockers, go through them. I, being the cool dude I am, I'm like, not my locker, I don't have to bother, because I forgot I had done this. I'm like, I never even used my locker. Can't be mine. Not gonna go check it. Everybody checks their lockers, no way to tell who checked their lockers. Nobody can find the smell, everybody goes back to class. It's about halfway through the day now, after lunch, and the principal comes up to our hallway, our corridor, and she's like, everybody's out, and I personally am going to walk from locker to locker, and we're going to find this, because I know it's in this hallway. And she's like, I have actually a pretty good idea on where it is. And so she, of course, brings us over to where my locker is. She starts opening all the lockers, gets to my locker, and when I tell you, when she opened it, it was like a cloud. Every single person just stares at me. They're like, I was like, ah. I was wondering where that was. For the rest of my entire time in middle school, which was a year and a half, the principal, every single time she saw me, she said, "Look who it is, the milkman." This was a different time when you could, I wasn't some soft little kid that was going home like, "They call me the milkman," and then she got fired for life. This is back when everybody could act like normal human beings. She would see me every time. She'd go, "Look who it is, the milkman." I owned it so hard. I was just like, "What do you guys all care about?" I'm like, "We got off like half the day to search our lockers." I'm like, "What the hell is everybody worried about?" I'm like, "You're welcome." I think is what I turned it into. I was like in like the next day, like, "You guys are welcome for yesterday. Nobody was even teaching anything because this whole place stunk. You're welcome. I gave you an extra day, basically." I tried to flip it on its head. Yep, those are my favorite. Those are my greatest moment and my lowest moment for sure. Absolutely, positively, in terms of like my crazy adventures. Between middle school and high school, I could tell you 10. No, actually, you know what my greatest moment was in high school? I had this idea one day. I was like, what I wanted, it was my senior year. I was a rebel. I think I spent, all I remember is at one point, my high school principal told me that if I got suspended one more time, he wasn't going to let me graduate. I remember that. That's how crazy it had gotten. I was like, "Oh, okay." I used to have to like beg my teachers to like put me in in-house suspension. I'm like, "Please don't send me home because if you do, I'm not going to graduate." They'd be like, "Well, why are you an asshole?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's just that I hate school. I don't know what to tell you. I like you. You're a good person. But this whole freaking learning geometry thing is just for the birds. You don't know about this yet, but there's this website coming called YouTube." No, I didn't tell them. I obviously did. Like, "You guys don't understand this, but we're all going to have a literal scientific calculator in our pockets at all times. So I don't have to pay attention to this. And I just happen to know that right now. The rest of you don't understand." Lattes and Lux. What'd you say the bus driver included was gaggy and they had to put all the windows down. All the kids were hanging their heads out for air. Some little a-hole kid on my daughter's bus had to play hacky sack with a carton of stand milk. It was in his book bag for a week, but all the kids started throwing up. Oh my god. Well, imagine that, a week-old sour milk just exploding on the bus, hitting somebody in the head. Oh, blah. Oh, not good. That would be very bad. All my greatest stories come from my Dave Matthews concerts because those are adult stories that are crazy. But, yeah, my best moment was anyway in high school. I was just a rebel. And it was like really towards the end. And I had this idea that I wanted to do a scavenger hunt throughout like the town. So like I spent my whole day like in the library. I skipped all my classes. I went to the library and I wrote up this thing of like, it had point values. There was extreme challenges, medium level challenges. And like I printed them out, like 100 pages of this thing. And I like went throughout like the whole school, like sneaking into people's like English classes to give them their things and stuff, like teams. Like I had all the teams broken down. It was crazy. It was 80 of us. 80 people. It was insane. So I got all these things printed out. I gave them to everybody. I had the whole thing organized. And I was like, we're going to meet in the parking lot here, at the high school parking lot. Like, at 5 o'clock, basically, like once everybody's gone, and we'll just like all scatter from there. We'll go throughout the town, we'll do what we need to do, and then we'll come back, and whoever, everybody after school went and bought Polaroids, because at the time nobody had iPhones. You had to buy a Polaroid, and you could take the pictures of certain things to prove that you did it if people didn't believe you, because some of the challenges were hardcore. They were like, if you actually did this, we need proof, right? Because they were worth a lot of points. Like crazy things, like the whole team had to eat 2 McDoubles at McDonald's in under 2 minutes. The whole team. So 2 minutes, you have to do 2 McDoubles. And it was not as easy as you think. You might think it's good. You can inhale the first one, but it's 2 minutes is fast. You might not think it is, but trust me, it comes up fast. So anyway, there was a lot of things. Like you had to jump off the little bridge, the Nanaquacket Bridge. It was like, the water was maybe 50 degrees at that time, like crazy. My buddy Mark was the one that did it for our team, got an instant nosebleed. We all thought he had an aneurysm because the change in temperature. We got so scared. We were like, oh my God, don't die. Like, because I don't know if you know this, but if your body goes through a huge, even like a couple degree full temperature change instantly, like you can have an aneurysm. It's pretty scary. And when he walked out and his nose was bleeding, we freaked. But he was cool. Long story short, he's got 2 kids. He's fine. He's a great guy. You had to get into a lady's car, or a person's car. You had to get into somebody's car, like while they were at CVS. Like you had to just get into their car, and like the person would come out, and you'd be sitting in their car. My buddy Bry did it, and the lady was not happy. You had to go to the old movie theater that was like down the road, and you had to take a picture with this guy Carl, who was the ticket guy. I came up with so many things. You had to, some of it was crazy, some of it was like illegal. Like you had to steal like a lawn gnome from somebody and bring it back for a certain amount of points. One of them was climbing the cell phone tower that was at the thing. Nobody did it. A couple people tried, but everybody got way too scared because they could have died. If you climb the cell phone tower, it was like an automatic win, basically, because it was worth so many points. And I was like, if you take a picture of somebody up, I'm like, because the rest of the time that we'll all spend doing that, you will have to spend climbing that thing, and then you could die. I'm like, so if you actually do this for the clout of winning this game, you're an insane person. But I'm going to give you the option for it, because this is America. So, having said all that, it was a badass night. It was one of the best nights of all of our lives. Easily my crown jewel. Everybody will remember me for it forever, right? Even people that I don't talk to, or I maybe never even really spent that much time with, I promise you they remember that night. And they might, anyway. The last period of the day rolls around, and we had a community service officer. He was a police officer lieutenant from my town that the school had hired, and he would come to the schools, the middle school and the high school, to keep everything cool. And he comes up to me. He's like, hey, can I talk to you? I was like, yeah, sure, man. He's like, I have this, I heard this thing. And he pulls out one of the scavenger hunts. He has it. He has the printout. He's like, somebody brought this to me. He was like, and it's like, I want you to know some things. I'm like, all right, go ahead. He's like, you know, like if somebody would have climbed that cell phone tower and like die, like you could be responsible for blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh yeah? Is that how that works? Like if I'm standing on the bridge and I go, let's all jump. Yeah, I'm sure. Good luck with that, right? That's what I'm thinking in my head, because I was such a shit at the time. I still kind of am to an extent, right? Like, I'll hold the door for your grandma, but to another extent, you're not going to tell me something that I know the opposite of. I was like, okay. He was like, and just so you know, like, if I catch you, any of you guys doing this tonight, he's like, if I catch anybody doing this stuff, he's like, I'm coming back to you because I know you wrote this whole thing. I go, how do you know that? He says, oh, because the person told me you wrote it. I said, well, I didn't. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, I have, the person told me you wrote it. I'm like, I don't care who told you what. I said, I might have given it to somebody, but I didn't write it. I'm like, this ain't my idea. He's like, well, are you a part of it? You gave it out the thing? I'm like, hey man, I didn't even know what that thing was. He's like, okay, Tom, because he knew me. He was like, okay, Tom. He's like, yeah, I just want you to know how much trouble you can get in for all this. He's like, and I'm trying to help you. He's like, so if you guys want to go out and do all this tonight, just know that I'm going to tell the police, and they're going to be like looking out for this. We all pulled up into that parking lot at about 10 o'clock that night. 5 hours later, nobody gave us a word. Nobody, not a peep. The whole, not one person had a single problem. It all worked out as I knew it would. I was like, we're not a bunch of like rebel kids. We're not gonna go paint the town red. Like somebody might lose their lawn gnome, but like, come on, man. You know, that's like, I'd rather lose a lawn gnome than get my house TP'd. Lose a lawn gnome, you gotta pay $5 to get a new one. Your house TP'd, you gotta spend time to take it all down and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not like we're being a pain in the ass here. I'm like getting into somebody's car. It's not like we're trying to rob them. We're just like messing around. Like, you know, come on. We're kids. Kids suck. Especially at that age. Like, they're just, you know, they're looking for something, especially when you were my age, before the entire internet was just your entire life. Like, you still went outside and did stuff. So for us, that was a big night. That was a really good, like, bonding experience for my whole class. I remember we graduated and, like, people came up to me that day, like, of graduation, and they were like, Tom, just so you know, the best night I had senior year wasn't our prom. It wasn't senior day at Six Flags. It was the night of the scavenger hunt. And I took so much pride in that. I was like, hell yeah. Like, not a few people, like a dozen at least, came up to me and was like, Tom, that was the best night of senior year, hands down. Like, whatever made you do that, like, thank you. Like, I gave people core memories, like, literally. If any of my friends had any talent, they could have gone on and written a movie, and that would have been a part of their story. The scavenger hunt night. Drop it! Hey! Drop. She's just staring at me. You lived the gunshot to the head. Wow. What? The hell's the internet's so weird. Yeah, I got stories for days, man. So many stories. My first ever business was selling bagels. Sophomore year. I had wood shop as my first period 3 out of my 5 days. And I used to wake up. My dad and I would go the day before and get bagels and cream cheese. I'd wake up like 45 minutes before I had to go to school. I'd put them in the oven, bake them up, toast them, slab them up with cream cheese, put them in tin foil, and put them in this little bag that my dad had bought me. It was like a heated bag, like, that kept things hot. I used to bring them to wood shop, and literally all the senior kids, they would all buy them from, like, all the football kids that were in wood shop. They loved me. I was like their favorite kid ever. They were like, dude, whoever you are, like, you little freaking weird, like, semi-freshman, like, you're the coolest kid we've met because you're like, these bagels are dope. I was very popular. That helped launch my popularity. I was the mayor of my high school. I gave the inaugural speech to every incoming class. Like, I was the guy. You came to the school with your parents for an inauguration night where you tour and you talk to the teachers and blah, blah, blah. And I gave the speech that started each one of those nights for 3 of my 4 years of high school. I went to, and I think this is so funny when I tell, I went to 5 proms. 5. No, I went to 6, 7. I went to 7 proms. My freshman year, I went to my girlfriend's junior prom. My sophomore year, I went to my girlfriend's senior prom. We break up. I go to my junior prom. I go to my senior prom. I go to my new girlfriend's junior and senior prom. That's 6. 6. Yep. 2, my 2, her 2. 6 proms. So, like, I don't know. I was just like, even in like the homecoming and all that stuff, I had such a huge part in all that. We had a senior talent show where I have the video. It's stored somewhere in the midst of all my stuff. I'd actually have to. I actually almost have like a flutter in my heart about where that thing is. Anyway, I'm going to go back in there and find it. I hope it's not lost to the gods, but I went out with the kid that ran the AV club. His name was Steve Rice. He had glasses. He was the nerdiest dude ever, but he was cool. He was the nerdiest guy ever. We never really talked. And I went out with a camera that he lent, me and my friend Nicole. We went out and we shot Borat Comes to Tiverton, which was the town I was from. And I played Borat, and I did the whole outfit. And with the mic, I mean, it was all improv, and I went all over the place. I went to the coffee place that we had in town, and like, the lady was serving me the coffee, and I was like, oh, so they let women serve coffee here in America? Like, I was ripping. I was at the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot, jumping on the thing to try to get him to come out and pay attention to me. I went to the tanning salon, told the guy, I was like, oh, it's going to be full, like, promotion for you. And then literally, like, lit him up like it was such a prank. Like, basically got his permission to film it and then just, like, threw him under the bus. Like, oh, yeah, man, this could be great for you. Like, all the girls will come in here because they'll see this place. And then he was, like, started interviewing. And I was like, so, you know, and he was like, oh, well, this is a shop where girls can come and get the tan for prom. And I'm like, he's like, you look like you need a tan. I'm like, I live in Kazakhstan where my house is a hut made of mud. And he just is like, he's just staring at me like, it's gold. Gold. Oh, my stepmom's here to tell you and actually tell you that this was a real thing. So I played this at my senior talent show in 2007. And it was like, people loved it. I mean, everybody talked to me about it for weeks. They were like, holy God. It was a good time. I gotta go find it. What about Jeopardy? What about Jeopardy, huh? What about Celebrity Jeopardy? How was Lucas? Lucas did the Celebrity Jeopardy. Actually, there was a Norm Macdonald quote in that, our 2007 senior talent show. Turd Ferguson. Yeah, that's not my name. It's a funny name. Turd Ferguson. It's a funny name. That was in our senior talent show. Oh, it's got to be this right here, right? Right here. You ready for this absolute gold that I'm about to show you? You have no idea what you're in store for. I had to contact the kid that ran the AV program like right before I moved here. And I was like, Steve, I know I haven't talked to you in 10 years. I'm like, I just happen to think that you are the kind of guy that would have this still. And he said, dude, if you thought I would ever delete that, you're crazy. He was like, of course, I have that. He's... Oh, yeah. This is going to be good. Oh, this thing doesn't have a disk drive. What am I doing? This is a new laptop. This is a fancy laptop. Doesn't have a disk drive. It's freaking old people disk drives. What am I gonna play this in? What does have a disk drive is my fancy computer. I'll play this for you tomorrow. Make sure you're a part of tomorrow's stream. Wait, I don't have a... Shut up. I don't have a disk drive on this thing? No way. Oh my God. My $2,000 something computer doesn't have a disk drive. It's amazing. It's amazing how obsolete these things are that there's no way this thing doesn't have a disk drive. Of course it doesn't, because I can see inside of it. There's no disk drive. What am I even looking for? I could put this in my Xbox. That's a good point, Jenna. Yeah, and Doc said I could just buy a disk drive for like $20 on Amazon. Because I'm going to need to buy a disk drive because this needs to get digitalized. God forbid anything ever happened to that. And I tried to like, if I ever lost that, it would be like a jewel lost to time. It'd be like that lady at the end of Titanic throwing the thing off the thing. Come here. What are you doing outside? She loves hanging outside. I'm going to get this all set up for you one day that you can hang out outside all day and night, all right? But it's not quite yet. It's dark out and there's bugs. Yeah, so there you go. Borat, it exists. It needs to get digitalized. It's good to see that I still have it sitting there. This thing doesn't really have a disk drive either, huh? I know it doesn't. I don't know why I keep looking at them, expecting one to just pop up. Because I thought the last time I tried to watch, like, Harry Potter or something. Oh, that was on my old computer. I scared you, huh? You got scared there. You are such a little... She's so funny. You're funny, Ari. You're a funny ass dog. Running like that. Scurrying. Scurry. Jenna, you weren't here earlier when I was hyping up your idea, but it's like $1 million idea. I haven't told anybody directly. I'm just getting them all excited because I feel like it's the greatest idea I've heard in so long. But just know I've been hyping you up. Okay. Okay, I want the record to state that. Thank you. That I was hyping up Jenna. This thing didn't come with any extra pieces, I just realized. Oh, yeah, dude, Amazon, you can get like probably a $15 disc reader. Isn't that crazy? Back in the day, if you wanted to get like a laptop or a computer with like a disc reader, and writer, it would cost you like hundreds of dollars more. Nowadays, you can get like a reader writer on eBay or not eBay, on Amazon that you just plug in. The chicken and waffles was amazing. Hell yes. Awesome. Did you have the Korean short rib? If you haven't, go eat it. It's bomb. The bomb. What's up, puppers? You want to come say hi to everybody? Hi, beautiful. What do you think? You want to come say hi? Yeah? The court recorder has noted this. The lupia with the short rib was fire as well. Yeah, the lupia is pretty okay. But the short rib is the best thing ever. Oh, go have the short rib, buddy. That thing is, you cannot miss that. That's the best festival item ever. Looks like the puffer fish has found his home in the tank here. In my opinion, it doesn't matter that Impossible short rib is an impossible piece of meat. I think it doesn't matter. I think it's so good that I would eat it even if you told me it was tofu. You could tell me that thing was anything. You could be like, this is made out of chicken's feet that we ground up. I'd be like, I don't give a shit what that's made out of. It's delicious. Like, we just took a bunch of bugs and we ground them down into a paste and then we slid it into a thing. I'm like, I don't care. That is dope. We've been streaming for an hour and a half already? Holy moly. Just enough of a bite. I have noticed a difference when it's like a full-size burger, etc. Yeah. Yeah, it has enough bite back. Is that what you're saying? Like, it's got enough texture to it that it feels like a piece of meat, in my opinion. Not meat, but... you know what it reminds me of? Have you ever had a McRib? Or like a boneless rib sandwich from anywhere? It tastes exactly like that. Especially when you put that Korean short rib stuff on there. Listen, if you went and had a McRib and put the same McRib sauce onto that Impossible thing, that's the same texture. Might not be the same flavor, but it's the same pretty much texture. I might actually like the texture of that Impossible thing more than I like the texture of a whatever the hell I was just talking about, McRib. Wow. I can't believe I just walked right in there and pulled that Borat DVD right out. At first, I couldn't even think about where it was. It's good to know that when I put stuff somewhere, I really just put it there and never touch it. That's a really good thing. Well, we got to be getting to a pretty okay time here. So I think I'm going to cut you guys loose. Cut you loose into the world. I'm very happy also with my little modification on the fish tank filter. Sucks we can't watch it yet though. You know, it's not going to be any less good tomorrow, I promise you. And actually, the real way to show it to you is not putting my screen and recording this screen. The real way to do it is to get a reader, and which I will, and to throw it on this laptop. That way I can Streamlabs it, and you'll get it in full quality. It'll be like just it'll be like a Lego stream, basically. So that's really what we need to do, because if I'm going to show that to you guys finally, really what that needs to do, because it's my IP, I own it, I need to just put that on YouTube. That video needs to go on YouTube. Just for propriety's sake, in case all my digital stuff ever just all blew up, it would exist on YouTube. So I'll grab a reader, and there'll be a Borat night. It'll be the stream. That'll be the stream. I'll be like, tonight we're watching Borat Goes to Tiverton. It's like 15 minutes. It's pretty long. For something that we shot and like showed to an audience, like, it was not a short film's usually 20, 30 minutes. That thing's pretty close to that. So all improv, zero script. It was pretty amazing. 100% improv. There was not a word written down. Not even a script. Nothing even got brainstormed before we walked into a single place. It was 100% off the cuff. I don't even remember all of it, so I'm sure I'm going to die watching some of it back. I know there's a part at the end where I put on like a super tight outfit, and I was pretty chunky back then. It was pretty funny. Like all my rolls. Like, it's so good. Yeah, it's good. That's a good one. We're going to have to... That needs to go up for just the sake of posterity. All right. See y'all tomorrow. Make sure you check back in. We'll be doing something at Disney World with Ari. Most likely going to Coronado. Although, we could be ended up at the All-Star Movies, because it's been a long time since I had the double cheeseburger on the cinnamon roll. 3 years almost, actually. I think it's time to go back and examine that thing and see if it's still up to par. it's not really something that Jenna, if she's in here, it's got so much sugar on it. It's not something like she could have more than a bite of. So we got a lot of food, her and I, to crush. So I think I'm going to try to do something tomorrow before she gets here that's a little outside of what she would want to eat anyway. Michael, how you doing? What's up, man? So, like I said, Saturday you can expect a stream probably to the airport, I would assume, and picking up Jenna. And then Sunday, most likely you can expect a Disney Springs stream because we'll have to go get candles and a bunch of stuff that we need to start her trip. And Monday, boom, parks. Tuesday, parks. Wednesday, Woody's Lunchbox. It's open. We'll be there with Dawn and Lexi and Jenna, who's got a very fun outfit planned for that day. And Thursday, Friday, something. Maybe a Tron soft opening at some point. I haven't really messed with it because I was pretty dedicated at this point to just going on opening day, and I don't really think I need to ride this thing right away. I almost don't want to ride it right away, just because I don't even want to taint the opinion. I just want to hear what everybody has to say before I even ride it. Exit interviews are going to be a good day. I'm talking 2 full hours. I mean, we're going to be doing it the right way. I'm bringing the right tripod to not have to worry about overheating like we did at Guardians. We're going to be in the shade somewhere, like posted up. It'll be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So we got a lot of good streams coming in the next few weeks. Sargento, Dawn, and the gang are here. Courtney's hopefully going to come up. We've got a lot of friends who are going to be here for the unofficial mod meetup at Steakhouse 71, so that'll be a good time too. A lot of good stuff coming. Coach, what's up, buddy? How are you? You're anxious to ride it? Yeah, I'll have fun. I just know it's not going to be as... It's not going to be what I want. I want Velocicoaster, and I know it's not going to be Velocicoaster, so... Until Disney opens a Velocicoaster, I need to stop trying to compare everything to Velocicoaster. Which is a very hard thing to do because it's so good. Also, strong possibility in the next few weeks the Universal streams come back. And I'm not trying to... Again, I hate not giving credit where it's due. Pat is so on top of the idea that when Epic Universe opens up, it is going to be extremely popular, and you're not going to want to be somebody that's just kind of fresh to it. Like, you're going to want to at least have, you know, gotten to Universal a handful of times beforehand. So I think that anybody who's been listening to him and has a brain themselves would certainly do that. You know what I mean? It's something that almost a necessity, I think, to be a Central Orlando streamer right now and not have a day at Universal in the lead up to this Epic Universe thing, to talk about it, to look at the progress. So it's quite possible that between City Walk, Velocicoaster, Pat maybe getting his annual pass again, there's a couple reasons for me to get my butt back over there too. It's not your favorite, but it's not bad either. Good. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, I can't wait to hear what everybody has to say about it. Exit interviews are going to be a lot of fun. Okay. I've talked for longer than when I said goodbye. So now I'm actually saying goodbye. Thanks for chilling, going down memory lane a little bit. That's a strong drink, apparently. Alyssa, Doc, Michael, thank you guys. I'll see you tomorrow for 100% for a Bricks live stream. We haven't had one in a couple months, so I hope to see some familiar faces on there. And I'll also have something on the Tom Does Disney network. Hitting the button. See ya.